New data reveals suicide rates among Iraq and Afghanistan war-era veterans are 50% higher than in the civilian population. The Veterans Suicide Prevention Bill will enhance mental health services offered through the VA medical system. Joining me with a personal look at the issue are my guests, Jean and Dr. Howard Somers, who became suicide prevention advocates after their son, Sergeant Daniel Somers, died by suicide in 2013. And Dr. Howard, so the two of you began speaking to Congress members to improve suicide prevention services after the death of your son. How will the Clay Hunt Veterans Suicide Prevention Bill help with that?
Well, we think the Clay Hunt Bill is an excellent first step in this effort. There are some provisions in there that here in San Diego we already are ahead of the game, but in the rest of the country we're not. There's a peer advocate portion of this bill that is incredibly important because veterans actually speak with and will listen to and trust their peers more than they'll trust anybody else. There's a loan forgiveness for those, only 10 a year though, which we feel is a very limited number, for those medical students who agreed to go into a psychiatric residency or residents who agreed to work at the VA, but unfortunately it's only for a limited amount of time, for 2 years.
10 people getting school that would have their
but only 10.
System. Right,
we could probably use half that number here in San Diego at this point.
There's $22 million federal dollars that are going to be spent with this bill to sort of boost services for suicide prevention. But that's not new money.
Correct.
Where is that money coming from? And does it mean that other services are going to have to be cut?
I think we have some concerns about that. It's something that Secretary McDonald told Congress that he could do. But we have talked to other people in the VA that question whether or not that's really going to be able to be done. I believe specifically with this peer support program, it actually calls for a new position. So a new position means money.
And it has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, that has to come from somewhere.
Now, Jean, the both of you became suicide prevention advocates, they said, after following your son's death. Jean, did your son reach out for help from the veterans medical system?
Absolutely. Daniel wasn't one of the veterans who was afraid to seek help. He went immediately. He had a problem getting help because he was in National Guard, and there was some confusion as to what his status in the National Guard was, whether he was considered active or deactivated. So it actually took him 3 months before he was able to be seen at the VA till they got that all squared away.
And then afterwards it took quite a bit longer. Something happened.
Well, Daniel unfortunately was caught in the situation in Phoenix, and we know everything that went on, and we probably don't know everything that went on, but a lot of the issues that were going on in Phoenix at the time. Yes, Daniel had a mental health provider who he felt good with, as we understand. That provider left, which they are wont to do. He was told, go out to the desk and they'll set you up with another doctor. And he was told that, well, we'll send you a postcard, and that was in 2008. And even when he died in 2013, he'd never received that postcard.
Do you think, Jean, that the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention, Veterans Prevention Act here would have helped your son?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure it would have. What they really need is more mental health professionals, and that's not just the VA. That's the entire country needs more mental health professionals and good mental health professionals. So I really feel that is probably the major problem right now.
Get enough people. Now, Howard, what would your advice be to veterans and their families who, if they feel like your son, they're not getting the help they need fast enough from the VA medical system?
The thing that we're telling people now is call your local congressional office. Call your local politicians. Every congressional office has somebody who deals with veterans issues and military issues. Even on a more local basis, on a city or county basis, there are veteran advocates. Don't just go to the VA Medical Center. Go to your local vet center. These are wonderful areas, wonderful peer-run facilities that are actually associated with the VAs. If I may, very quickly, there are a couple things in there that might be of help to future Daniels. Number one in the Clay Hunt Act is that they're going to have a website mandated that is going to have all of the information supposedly having to do with mental health. And the other is that there's going to be a federally mandated independent review of every facility on an annual basis. And we think that the fact that it's going to be independent and annual is very important.
Right. Well, Dr. Howard Somers and Jean Somers, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you very much.